Good evening and welcome to another episode of Man Knows Football. My name's Apple. I'm going to be your host this evening. And I'm not going to lie to you people, it's going to be a very, very difficult show for me. I'm a Manchester United fan. And unfortunately, I'm stuck in this room on my own with one dickhead of a Liverpool fan. And here he is, showing his class. Oh, man. Very, very difficult. Listen, Deck, it's good to have you on the show. It's good for us,
that's good, bro.
to finally be face-to-face and do this.
Especially in these circumstances.
Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, look, by the way, people, we are going to be joined by another guest very shortly. But for now, it's just going to be me and Deck. Listen, so Deck, I'm just going to kick this off. I'm going to ask you the question. I'm not going to be disrespectful to your club. I'm actually going to ask and say, what is it that you feel Liverpool got right today in order to beat Manchester United the way that you did?
To be honest, and I think you'll agree, I don't think we needed to do too much right. I don't think we weren't great at all. I think the thing that we got right was we were clinical. We took all our chances when they came. And you didn't. You could have had 2 or 3 in the first half, but we were just clinical. Obviously, you got Salah, the difference maker, and it was a shit show from you guys. To be totally honest with you, I think you'll agree with that. It was more about what you guys did wrong than us getting everything right.
I actually really respect that because I think a lot of people would have been quick to blow their own trumpet and maybe say that you blew us away. And I don't think Liverpool did blow Manchester United away. I think what actually happened was a capitulation and a shambles of a display from Manchester United. Listen, it's very difficult for me to host a show and speak about the game objectively, but I'm sure I'll have to try and do my best. Listen, I think if we look at Liverpool, let's be honest, I would say it's actually quite easy for clubs to go out and get things wrong in those kinds of games. And look, let's be honest, as bad as Manchester United were, I think Liverpool was still good. The signs of a good team is when you need to get the basics right. You need to get your A, B's and C's done correctly. And you guys done that. I thought Trent was absolutely outstanding. And I thought the young man Jones was absolutely phenomenal the whole game. Look, when you guys needed to defend, you defended. When you needed to retain the ball, I think you guys showed a really good process in how to keep the ball. And I think Liverpool done that really, really well. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that United were fantastic. They really wasn't fantastic. But I think the difference between the two teams is that one team looked like as if they knew exactly what they were doing when they had the ball. And the other one, quite frankly, didn't look like that. Before we move on, obviously, we've just been joined by Darren. Darren, it's good to have you on the show. Can you hear us, Darren? Okay, I'm guessing we're still having a few difficulties there with that, but that's fine. We'll revisit that in just a second. Look, Deck, I guess the next question from me to you is, at what point in the game did you feel like it was done and dusted and it was comfortable?
It was quite funny actually because just about 2 minutes before half time, I was about to hit send on a tweet and say that even though it was 3-0, something about it didn't feel comfortable. And then just as I was about to hit send, Salah makes it 4 on the stroke of half time, and I think that was truly game over for me. The only reason I say that, obviously, it sounds stupid to say that I didn't feel comfortable at 3-0. We did concede quite a few chances in that first half. Ronaldo had a couple. Fernandes probably should have made it 1-0 to United. So that sort of set the tone. I knew whenever we play you guys seem to always create chances. We never have like a shutout against you lot. So even at half-time, obviously against Atalanta in the week, he came back. So it was a niggling thing in the back of my mind. But as soon as that fourth went in on the stroke of half-time, that was game done then, wasn't it? I think we went in at half-time just knowing second half, we just got to manage it. What about you? When did you think you lot were toast?
Well, look, I think half time of the Atlanta game, I knew United were in big trouble, big trouble against Liverpool come Sunday evening. I knew that. I think a hiding like this has been coming, and I think the most concerning thing is that this is United's first game against top six opposition, and they've been absolutely battered. They've been beaten and battered. This is a proper Ike Turner beating. This is unbelievable, unforgivable. And listen, not to be insensitive, apologies. But it was an absolute hiding that they've caught out there today, and I think we have to be really honest with what we saw today. We saw Liverpool not at their best, not with their most dangerous front three because Mane was on the bench. I'd even go as far as to say that wasn't Liverpool's strongest team. And the only person that you could say improves that United team there is Pogba. And they were absolutely destroyed. They're absolutely destroyed. Listen, it's again, because United was so difficult or so bad, it's so difficult for me to ask you positive questions about the game because I just feel like the game was so easy for Liverpool. I feel like the game was so easy for not just for the players but also for the fans because from the outside looking in as a Liverpool fan, when you watch Manchester United, do you feel any fear? Do you feel like we could get beat here? I mean, just in terms of that open play, what is it that you see that you wouldn't want to see at Liverpool about Manchester United at the moment?
I think just everything. It is the only thing that, like, if you look at it from the outside looking in at United, the only thing that really you can look at and think, I wish we had a bit of that, was a couple of superstar names. You look at Greenwood. I say superstars. I think Greenwood, Sancho, even Rashford. I think these are the kind of guys that they're the danger men for United. I don't think no one fears Ronaldo in this setup. Yeah, right. It looks like he can come up with a goal, but he doesn't look. You're not worried about playing 90 minutes against him. You're just worried. Oh, if he gets a chance, he might take it. You know when Ronaldo, like, the big thing about Liverpool over the last few years and what's made us so successful is the gegenpress, the pressing, and the only way you're successful doing it is if every single player buys into it. Everyone who comes off the bench, everyone who starts, everybody's got to buy into it, because if you have one weak link playing football that way, you get punished big time. And I look at United's team and I see 3 or 4 that aren't going to do it. So when I see 4 attackers and Ole before the game saying we need to play up in Liverpool's half of the pitch, but the only way you can do that against a good team is with a good press. And I look at Ronaldo, he's not a press. He's not going to give you anything. I think Roma put the thing in the chat the other day where he's the striker with the least pressers in the whole league. Greenwood, not really renowned for it. Rashford's going to give you the legs. But if you've only got one person out of 4 doing it, it's a nightmare. You look at people hailing Salah the best player in the world now. And I think part of what makes him the best in the world is he does the pressing. He does the dirty work. He does the things that not only get personal recognition, but make the team better. So, and you just don't see that with United. So I think what I want to ask you is, I'd love to know from United fans, Ronaldo, where do you go from here with Ronaldo? Does he fit in your best 11 in your opinion? Do you need to just play different players around him and keep him on the pitch? What do you think?
The problem that we've got is that I can answer this question in 2 ways. I can answer this question as a Manchester United fan, or I can answer this question as somebody who coaches football for a living. I'm going to answer the question as somebody who coaches football for a living, because that defines me as a man. It's too easy to point the finger at Ronaldo and talk about United not pressing the ball. I think before a team can press the ball, there needs to be a team. There has to be an element of unity. There has to be some sort of conjoinment and conformity within the group. I don't see that with Manchester United. I don't see a team element to their build-up play. I don't see a methodical approach to the game. It's constantly just winging it. And I've said it week after week about the way United come out. They're just kind of expecting good players to go and do good things. and kind of relying on moments in games as opposed to taking control of games. Good teams control games. They don't play off the counter attack for 40 out of 50 games. They don't do it. They just don't do it. City go and take the game to people. Liverpool go and take the game to people. Tottenham go and take the game to people, and they're not even a top team.
No.
You know, let alone what Chelsea do to teams. My goodness. You know, so big problems there at Manchester United that are bigger than just individual personnel. I think today it's easy to make headlines out of Pogba getting sent off. I think it's easy to make headlines out of Ronaldo not pressing and these kinds of things. We've got to look at players and understand what their strengths are. You've got to play players to their strengths, as well as bed them into your philosophy. The big problem is there is no philosophy at Manchester United. So players don't look like as if they know what to do. They don't look like as if they know what to expect. I'm watching Wan-Bissaka really struggle with decision-making. Does he dribble infield or does he go around the outside? I'm watching Luke Shaw tucking in almost as an extra centre-back, leaving big gaps in behind him. Look, one of the first things that's changing that Manchester United team is you got to go free at the back. I don't think any of those centre-halves are good enough at the moment. I think even more so when your confidence is knocked, when the philosophy just is non-existent and you've got no build-up play, the one thing you can't do is concede goals. You can't leak goals. You can't concede 5 at home. Well, look, they've conceded 7 at home this week. They've conceded 7 goals at Old Trafford this week. That's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment for any club at that level. And what worries me is I feel there's going to be a reluctance to make a change where it needs to be made. It's not for me to say where that change should be. I mean, it's obvious that there's problems at the club. Previously, the problems were not just with the coaching staff or with the players. It was with the management of the club in terms of personnel, no director of football and those kinds of things, and perhaps having the financial man in charge of football affairs. I feel like those problems are kind of becoming resolved. Am I happy with Darren Fletcher as a director of football? Probably not. Am I happy with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager? I wasn't happy before he was appointed. No. I wasn't even happy when he got to a Europa League final. I wasn't happy. So, you know, we have to look at what's going wrong at United. We have to understand that there's really big problems there. But is a group of players good enough? Yeah, I think the group of players have got it in them to go and do something. Yes, they're short a defensive midfielder. Perhaps could do with strengthening on that right back side of things. Not necessarily to get Wan-Bissaka out. I still think he's one of the best fullbacks in the league. Maybe even one of the best fullbacks in Europe still defensively. But like any young player, and I think it's easy to forget how young he is, he needs to be coached. That's the big thing there with this United team is that they need to be coached.
100%, yeah.
So, you know, as a coach, just to try to answer your question more directly, no, I don't change Ronaldo. I don't change him. The reason why I don't change him is because even if you play in moments, you have Ronaldo on the pitch, and even if you want to build up play, you have Ronaldo on the pitch. He's almost like an NFL running back, the way that he checks his runs and he's sharp on the move. And you're absolutely right. He's not the kind of player that's going to give you consistent problems over the course of 90 minutes on the ball anyway. But any defender will tell you the one thing that he doesn't want, they're not going to want to play against a team that play with good possession. And on top of that, they've got 2 strikers of Cavani and Ronaldo that are constantly on the move. They're constantly trying to mess you about. They're running into your blind side. They're niggling. They're touching you. When they get the ball, they want to be direct. You know, they want to shift and shoot. Those are things that even me, I played as centre-half for years and years. No defender likes that. But United don't play that way, and it's really confusing for me. So there's no point in having Ronaldo in your team if you want to press and if you don't have a build-up style of play. If there's no process and method to play, there's no point in just throwing Ronaldo in there and expecting him to survive off of moments.
A bit of magic from him to save your ass again, innit? That's what it feels like in a minute.
Oh, 100%. And you know, and it's frustrating as somebody who's involved in football. It's frustrating as a fan to watch. I can't begin to imagine how frustrating it must be for the players because look, I could only imagine a few times myself as a player coming into a changing room and having a coach that maybe you're not 100% sure he knows what he's doing, but you try your hardest to do what he's asking you to do. Yes, you can wing it and go and do your own thing, and maybe there's moments in games where you do that just to get yourself out of trouble. But when you're listening to him, you're getting yourself back into trouble again, and I just can't help but feel like that's exactly what's going on at United.
Do you think then? Because what I would say from the outside as well is sort of looking past what's happening on the pitch at United, but behind the scenes, do you think there's too much emotion going on in terms of the decision making, just in terms of like keep it? Because I don't know whether you agree or not, but I think Ole's only staying because of his. I think he only got the job before because of his status with United and the fans, and I feel like he's only keeping his job because of that same thing. And then you look at like Darren Fletcher getting that role, and then even the United sign, the Ronaldo signing. I look at like when I see Neville speak about it on Sky Sports, and he's saying it's a deal they had to make. It's a deal they had to make. I get that he was obviously on the verge of maybe going to City, but even that signing felt like an emotional signing. It feels like there's a lot of emotion being put before brains. Yeah.
I think absolutely United have been very impulsive in the last 12 to 18 months. I think they've been very impulsive. I think even the signing of Jadon Sancho was very impulsive. I think I think Ed Woodward had looked at how many tweets and hashtags there'd been to get Sancho in the club and decided that's probably the right move to make because it's going to sell loads of shirts and whatnot. Listen, I've read a few things that you can never be too sure about the accuracy of them, but I would be surprised if it was true. I read a few things about the finances of that deal that involved Jadon Sancho, and I'm astonished at the wages. I'm astonished at the fee, but I'm even more astonished at how quickly that fee was covered by shirt sales and endorsements. United is a gigantic snowball of a club. It's an absolute juggernaut of a club. No disrespect to Liverpool, but Liverpool can't see United from the mountaintop in terms of.
Oh, nobody can. The money, even the money coming in, like you say, unless you've got a City or a Chelsea back in, United pulling more money than anyone.
Absolutely.
It's not even close.
So it's crazy when I see impulsive things done like that, and then it makes me think: is it really impulsive? Just because the fans are happy with it doesn't make it the right decision. I think Ronaldo jerked United around a little bit, and he knew it would force an impulsive response from United. And I remember Ronaldo last year saying that he wanted to go back to Man United. I think he wanted to go to Italy for a bit of an easy time. He done that, got the Golden Boot and all the rest of it. Scored so many goals, outscored Lukaku at 36 years old. And I think he could only really do that in Italy. But look, you say that he's come to the Premier League and he's outscoring Lukaku again. But there has to be more thought process involved with everything that United are doing. They can't keep doing things out of impulse. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I just feel like that nostalgic United way with United men doing things the United way. I feel like that's something that's been crammed down the throats of United fans. And for the most part, because look, listen, this is a game dominated by working class people, and we want to hear things like that. Let's do it the United way with players from United's history, and it's nostalgic, and it stokes an almost primeval emotion amongst people, and you think, why bars? But but it's gone beyond that now. The game's evolved. You've got to move on because the United way can't be successful, and that's the same reason why you look at Jose Mourinho. He's not winning trophies. Yeah. I think we were all critical of Jose Mourinho when he's at Manchester United, and he said, and he meant wholeheartedly, his greatest achievement was not winning the Europa League; it was finishing second with that Manchester United team. And the more and more as time goes on, you have to look at it and understand that he's absolutely correct. I think the recent, you could call it a success, I guess, coming second. I don't, because I'm a winner and I only believe in winning. So whether you come second or come last, it's exactly the same because you didn't win. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed to paper over cracks last year by coming second. United didn't come second.
No.
Liverpool, Chelsea, the clubs around them capitulated and gave them second place. There's a very, very big difference.
I said that last season. I said this, if you look back over the last sort of 3 or 4 seasons, United have finished second twice. And it's been a false image both times because they've not been near the title either time. You know what I mean? To say you finished second twice in 4 years, and still not mounted the title challenge. It's worrying, you know what I mean? Because it's only happened because other teams have fell off a cliff and shot themselves in the foot.
Well, I mean, for Liverpool, I think it was very obvious the reason why it happened. You had some very notable injuries, and look, another thing that I've got to respect. Listen, first off, I need to explain this to you just so you know. I do not like your football club. I do not like your fan base, and I don't like you. But what you guys have managed to do with no budget, you've got a world-class manager, top 2 in the world, in fact. And what you've managed to do is absolutely breathtaking. Winning Champions Leagues, winning Premier Leagues, bringing good times back to Anfield, but also doing it in a way that's modern. Because you're not playing football the way that Liverpool used to play. It's not Liverpool men doing things the Liverpool way.
No.
You know, this is Liverpool evolving and modernising and doing things in a way that they know it needs to be done. And that's both from the academy right up to the first team. So look, Liverpool have got so many things correct. Today's game was an absolute shambles for Manchester United. And it really did need to happen, and I'm glad it happened against Liverpool because it makes it hurt just that little bit more. Like I said, I don't like you, I don't like your fans, and I don't like your club. But the best club won today, and I think it's only right that happens. I guess my leads me to my next question, really, which is where do you now see the season for Liverpool? Steamrolling Manchester United isn't difficult at the moment. If you're a team that's half decent and you don't steamroll Man United, then quite frankly, you got no chance. We've watched United concede 4 against Leicester, 2 against Atalanta, 5 against Liverpool. They're out of the picture. For me, forget it. Until changes are made, you're not going to see anything there from them. So where do you see the challenge coming from outside of City?
Obviously Chelsea as well. I think it's a genuine 3-horse race. I still fancy us. I backed us from the start. I'm not going to change my mind. Today just further enhanced that. Even though, like you say, you were poor, it still makes a massive statement to go there, do what. Even though United were poor, what that does for us going forward is massive. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how shit a United team you beat. You go to Old Trafford, you win 5-0 in that manner. It just does something to the club. You know what I mean? Like the lads are going to be going off buzzing. They're not going to be able to wait for the next game. Salah hat-trick. It's just everything just seems to be lining up. But we're getting a couple of injuries. Like today, Fabinho picks up a knock. He's not even in the squad. And I'm sitting there like thinking, shit. No Fabinho midweek. And it was a bit of a shit show, to be honest. Bailed out by Salah again. Same midfield. You've got 36-year-old Milner playing his 3rd game in a week. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, like this could be a bit of bad news. But then we go out and we deliver a performance like that. And that's just what I love. Curtis Jones, like you said, coming off the bench, back from injury, didn't miss a beat. He was tremendous. Away at Old Trafford, young Scouse lad coming through, doing the business. It's just everything just seems to be lining up nicely for us. And I think we weren't great today, but I think overall this season we looked the most complete under Klopp. And I said this to Ash last time we recorded. That's worrying for other teams. You know, we're picking up injuries here or there, but we're not missing a beat. We're conceding a couple of sloppy goals here and there, but we just keep going. We go away to Atletico Madrid and away to United in a week. Score 8 goals, concede 2. It's just happy days at the minute. I think we're just looking to win the 2 big boys. I think that's all the players will have on their minds at the minute.
I think it's scary when you think about where your attack is at the moment, and because Diogo Jota isn't exactly second class, is he? He's a top player. So when you look at those 4 players that can play in those positions, and you still got the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain that could maybe play in that role as well as centre midfield, and I think that Origi still to go in there with that squad players. But you look at those 4 players, it's frightening. And what Mo Salah's managed to do, look, listen, he's been an absolute animal in the last 5 years anyway. But this season, what I'm seeing from Mo Salah isn't just best player in the world stuff. I'm talking about this is GOAT stuff I'm seeing from him. Mm-hmm. He physically looks like he's on another page. His comeback I didn't even think it's possible for him to be even sharper and even quicker and even more hungry. He looks like he's a man on a mission. Just anybody that's got to play against Mo Salah at the moment, you just say to yourself, I would really rather not. And it really is a testament to him, because if you look at how his career started, young, Chelsea, first big move, didn't quite work out for him. He just went away, built it himself, trusted in his own process, and from there it's just been an absolute animal. And watching him in a Liverpool shirt makes me feel sick. I don't want to see a Liverpool player be that good. And I'll be honest with you, it's really concerning, because I look at that and I say, no matter how good Chelsea are, no matter how good Manchester City are,
he feels like the difference maker, doesn't he?
The difference maker is an understatement.
Yeah.
You look at that and go, he is going to be rampant. And it doesn't matter how you guys can be under the cosh against really difficult teams this year. One long ball out of trouble, and Mo Salah will do it on his own. Yep. Mane can do it on his own. Jota can do it on his own. And even Bobby Firmino can do it on his own. But look, congratulations to Liverpool tonight. I think you guys definitely deserve to win. That's a bit of a gimme. Understatement. I'm just gonna, you are a classless piece of shit. The way that you wanted to start this interview. No better way to do it though, because Fernando Torres is one of the best to do it in the league. Let's be honest. The 2 years where he was on fire, he absolutely lit the Premier League up, and I guess we have to take that one on the chin. I think Vidic still has nightmares about Fernando Torres to this day. El Nino. But look, listen, Deck, it's been an absolute pleasure to share the stream with you. Again, I don't like you, your club, or your fan base. I hope for your sake you don't wake up in the morning and feel too good about yourself, because there's no reason for you to disrespect me the way that you did at the start of this chat. But anyway, listen, look, it's been an absolute pleasure, and listen, onwards and upwards for United, and may the misery continue for some.
And hopefully, when we cut this off, Ollie's still got a job.
Well, that's something that I'm going to leave for everybody else to debate. I think when people don't do the things they're supposed to, I think we know what's supposed to happen. Yeah. And on that bombshell, thank you very much. And listen, everybody watching, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Down below, you'll see links to myself, Dex, social media. Get following, get liking, get retweeting. And listen, keep your eye out. There's going to be loads more absolutely fantastic content from Man Knows Football. And listen, you've got to be in it to win it. Love the game.